All right, students, just like I said before, feet is going to be on the bottom, so we put our yards on top. Then we can just multiply it straight across. When we do that, we'll get 45 over 3. At that point, we need to simplify it so that it is no longer in a fraction. We can just use both of our units. So when we have 45 thirds, we divide that. I know that 45 divided by 3 is 15. Let's check back to see what units we have. We wanted it to be in yards. Hopefully it is. Feet up on top, feet down on the bottom. Yes, it is. So it would be 15 yards as our answer. All right, brain break time. Listen up before you move to all of the directions. You're going to give a high five in the room to someone who participates in an activity besides one that you already do. So not someone that you're in all of your activities with. Pick someone new, go up to them and give them a high five, greet them for the day, and then return back to your seats. You have 45 seconds to do so. Begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should be in your seats ready to learn now. Moving on. Now we're converting rates. We're going from 10 miles to hour to miles per minute. Notice how we're only changing from hours to minutes. That miles stays the same. So let's write our first ratio. We have 10 miles in 1 hour. We want to get rid of that hour, so we're going to have our converting factor have hours in the top. I know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour, so that's our converting factor. 1 hour on top, then 60 minutes on the bottom. Now at this point, we can multiply straight across. When we do that, we get 10 over 60. At this point, we need to simplify it. I know 10 divided by 60 just ends up being 1/6. Let's look back at our units. Miles divided by miles, I end up with just hours on the end here. Let's take a look at this. This one's kind of funky because we have both hours opposite and minutes opposite. Oh, I know where I made my mistake. Let's make sure we're labeling it so we don't make the mistake as Ms. Schlingen did. Okay, so it's 10 miles, but it's 60 minutes. So if I have minutes there, I know that that does not cancel out and that minutes remains as well as this one. It's the hours that cancels out. See, even teachers make mistakes. Now we have 10 over 60 with just our minutes left behind. So it's 1/6 of a mile per minute. That would be our answer. Let's try this next one all on your own. Think of your converting factor. Write that down so you can refer to it. Start with what they give you. Multiply by that converting factor. If we wanted to cancel out, they are diagonal from each other. Then you can multiply straight across. So I'll give you a moment to do that. All right, let's check it through. We have $15 for 1 hour. We want that to be in cents. Our converting factor, there are 100 cents in $1, in $1. And there's also 60 minutes in an hour. This is that super, super tricky one that we worked on at the end of class yesterday. And I have that video for you to refer to. Okay, we want to get rid of We go from dollars to cents. We also go from hours to minutes. So we're going to have two different converting factors right here. Let's start with just the dollars converting factor. We're going to multiply it. And since we're using the money, the dollar converting factor, that dollar amount is going to be on the bottom. So we have $1 that's equal to 100 cents. Now let's move on to our green, our timeline, our hours per minute. We want hours to go away, so hours is now going to be on the top because it was on the bottom before. We have 1 hour on top, and then we have 60 minutes on the bottom. Then we can just multiply it straight across, and when we do that, we're going to end up with 1,500 divided by 60. Let's look back at our units. Our dollars cancel out, which is what we wanted, and our hours cancel out, which is also what we wanted. Now we just have cents per minute left over. When we divide that, what would we get? I'll give you a moment. Three, two, 1, 0. All right, checking back in. 1,500 divided by 60 gives us the answer of 25. So our answer is 25 cents per minute. It's just take it one step at a time. That way you don't get overloaded. Your homework now. You have two choices. You can work on either side of 2.6. No matter what, you still have to pick one side. You don't have to do both. If you're choosing side K, you're doing all of the questions. If you're picking side G, you are working on all of the odds. But then in addition to that, you are doing problems 8, 10, 12, 30, 32, and 34. So you can take your pick. I expect that for the rest of the period, you are working independently, meaning on your own, to answer these. Your first source for help is your notes. Your second source for help then would be your neighbor to the right. Nothing becomes over a whisper during this work time.